This is the 5th Clay Clan challenge, throwing without centering. It was by far the hardest challenge for me. Centering is really fundamental to throwing, and it is really difficult to not do something that you have trained yourself to do. And there are several times that you can you always want to start centered, but there's also several times where you can kind of correct and kind of center more, and it was really difficult not to do those things. So here I'm just checking the depth. And you can see that wobble. And it's so hard not to try to compress the walls to get it at least a little bit more centered. What's going on is, there's more clay on one side of that circle than another. Be sure to check out the other potters doing these challenges with the hashtag #ClayClanChallenge. Some really talented people doing some really awesome stuff. Just compressing the walls before I do my first lift. Compressing the base. I was actually a little down today, and this challenge, it perked me up. It was fun. It improved my day for sure. So here I am, still compressing the walls. You can see my hair is blowing, mosquitoes are out. So I'm using a fan for mosquito control. I found that's working better than anything else. And it's good for the pollinators. It's really weird throwing without centering. This was by far the hardest. So here's my first pull, and I can feel the walls and how uneven they are. You can see that wobble. And some of that clay did get pulled up to the top, so you can see where it's a little uneven there, and I can press it down. And this clay wasn't so great either. I had just thrown something else with it and it flopped, so I did a pour wedge. So it was kind of lumpy on top of being uncentered. I was actually kind of pleased with how these pulls went, or these lifts. I think that's what you're supposed to call them now, lifts. But you can definitely see where there's a wobble. Trying to come up with a course of action. What am I going to do? One of those things that these challenges have changed is when we did the no tool challenge, it really taught me I don't need much water to throw since I couldn't use a sponge, and that has made a big difference in how I throw and has made cleanup so much easier. You can see this wobble on this pole. Look at it go. Wobble, 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 wobble. I'm throwing with about like a little under 1.5 pounds here. I'm not exactly sure. Like I said, I threw something and it didn't work, and then I threw a little bit of clay and again didn't wedge well. You can see that ripple. And that's happening because the walls are uneven. One part is a little bit thinner than the other. But I'm happy. It's cheering me up. Just trying to get those walls a little bit straighter. I'm checking to see where I feel the walls are thicker in some areas than others, just so I can be a little bit more mindful when I pull. And then I'm also adding water before I use this tool and do another kind of lift. And here what I'm doing is I am pressing the clay from the inside out towards my tool to help make the walls a little bit straighter. Best I can, but again, the walls are uneven thickness because it wasn't centered. So part of that wall is thicker than the other side. So with the, centrifugal force, the more I let it spin, that heavier side's gonna throw out wider and wider and wider, making it more and more wonky. And it's hard to tell from, certain angles if, how wonky it is. So that's why I keep bending over and trying to see it from a lower angle. So again, just trying to make it a little bit straighter, trying to make it look a little bit better. It's not working. I think I made it worse here. Definitely made it worse. I think at this point I realize if I keep messing with it, I'm gonna lose it. This may have gone a little bit better if I'd started with a decently wedged piece of clay, but I really, really hate wedging, and I knew that this wasn't gonna go, it's not centered, so it was gonna be not a great pot anyway, so why bother wedging? I can always find an excuse not to wedge. Oh, look how wonky it gets. Look at that. That's terrible. It's fun. I was not smiling before this. Alright, so I'm kind of wrapping it up here. Taking out the extra moisture from the bottom. And then here I'm going to show you what it looks like from the top angle, so you can really see that wobble. So yeah, you can see how one side is definitely thicker, throws out. And then any pot I don't keep, I always cut in half because I learned something. I always want to see and make sure I'm being consistent and haven't gotten some kind of crazy habit somewhere. And despite this being a wonky pot, the walls were pretty decent, but you also have to keep in mind if I'd cut again, I should have cut them again from the other angle, and you probably would have seen how they're different thicknesses. So that's it.